Hi, everybody. My name is Heather Riemer, and I'm coming from Oakland, California. I'm a program coordinator at an organization called Peers over here. And today we're going to talk about resilience. Um, I'll tell you a little bit more about my programs in a minute. It's on some of the slides, and we'll just get started in a minute, unless there's any questions or comments, first of all. No? Okay,
We have a couple more people joining up,
great.
and I will start sharing the slides for you. You just let
Okay.
me know when you want another slide.
Okay. So this is rising to the challenge, the resilience in all of us. Next slide. So this is a little bit about Peers, where I'm coming from and where I work. Peers is a diverse community of people with mental health experiences. Our mission is to promote innovative peer-based wellness-based strategies, culturally rich, community-based mental health programs that honor experiences and eliminate stigma and discrimination. Our vision is we envision a world where people can freely choose among many uh, options that address the needs of the whole person. We see a future with mental health experiences where mental health experiences are valued for their essential contribution to society. Next slide. This is just some of our programs. We have a rap program where we do like several rap groups a week. Right now we're doing them online. And then we have special messages, which is a shoot off of the Hearing Voices Network group. And we have spirituality and healing arts, buried in treasures clutter support group. Some of you might have gone to my coworkers support group for that, which was on Monday, I believe. And then we have Lift Every Voice and Speak Speakers Bureau. We have the Latino AX Project, the Everyone Counts campaign, African American Anti-Stigma campaign. Then in education and training programs, we have Transitional Age Youth Leadership Club, and they do wellness workshops. And yeah, the Leadership Club, I said that before. I'm sorry. And then we have Emotional CPR, which is eCPR. So that's just some of our programs. If you're ever come to Oakland and are interested in hanging out with us, we'd be happy to have you. Next slide. So resilience, a simple definition of resilience, the ability to resist, absorb, and recover from our successfully adapt to adversity or change. We all have levels of resilience. Next slide. So what is resilience? How does it come about? Is it something that we're born with? Actually not. It's something that we develop and strengthen like a muscle. It's a state of mind, it's a way of being, it's something that you strengthen. Next slide. There's 4 types of resilience. There's physical, mental, emotional, or social or community. Social or community. And they all, if you can sit in a chair and get up more than once an hour, you're resilient. If you are mentally doing games and puzzles all the time, that's resiliency in strengthening your resiliency. Then emotional resiliency is also when you do exercises that are increase your capacity to imagine, dream, plan, and do creative activities. It fortifies the soul. It's very much an inner thing that you feel and you grow. And social and community is when you reach out to people. Giving hugs is a way of resiliency. just hugging somebody all the time is a way to increase your social and community resiliency. Next slide, please. So there's 7 C's of resiliency: competence, confidence, connection, character, contribution, coping, and control. And competence is where, well, you know what competence is. Competence is where you're able to stand up and be good at something, where you're good at something and you're doing the right thing and you feel right about it. And then confidence is just feeling really good about yourself and knowing that you can do everything that you set out to do. Connection is connecting with people as much as you can, and character is character building activities that you do. There's many different types of things you can do to build your character. A lot of people build their character through connections with other people. So they kind of all connect to each other, the 7 C's. And contribution, do you contribute to the world? Do you help people? Do you do what you can for others? That's contribution. And coping is, of course, being able to cope with everything that happens in this world and in your personal life, which sometimes can be devastating, right? Because resilience is basically being able to take a bad situation, go through it, and come out stronger on the other side. And then control is just control of your environment. Next slide, please. So resiliency is a place of high creativity and flexibility. It's our capacity to change. It's a positive state that is resourceful, adaptable, and energizing. It is it's not like grit, where grit is, you have it and you can just power through. Resilience is kind of a creative way of getting through things. Other states, such as just coping, can be quite draining, right? Because you're always having to just make it through, just do it through. But resilience is making it through, getting through something, and actually coming out stronger or better on the other side. Next slide, please. About resiliency, we share our stories. I'm going to talk a little bit about storytelling today, because we can share ours through telling and listening to stories. So when you talk about your own resiliency and tell others about situations that you've been through and come out stronger, it helps that person. It helps them a lot. And it's a great way to share with somebody and strengthen. It actually affects the neurons in your brain, that they form paths, that they connect to each other when you're being resilient, when your resiliency is growing. Next slide, please. So peer support and resiliency. You know that it's very difficult sometimes for people to recover, right? They have to travel a path of making it through hardship and maybe being hospitalized or not, or having substance use misuse issues, or whatever the problems might be. But if you can stand with somebody who is suffering or going through a lot of things, and you can tell them your personal stories of resiliency, it can help them a great deal. It can help them to be resilient and come through on the other side. Next slide, please. So our brains are wired to understand and retain stories. It's just something in our brains that if you tell a story, it does something for you as well as the other person. There's synapses in the brain that connect, and it actually the person can remember the story a lot better than just talking about a situation. It's just a really amazing way to translate hope and help to another person is through stories. Next slide. So storytelling throughout history, we carry customs, beliefs, and resilience within our stories. Throughout history, like indigenous people have always told stories about how well their ancestors have done. And that helps the new generation of people to be strong and carry forth and go forth in the world and do what they need to do. So yeah, we carry our customs, beliefs, and our resiliency within our stories. That's really true. It can affect people in a great way. Not just reading stories, but verbal stories, telling somebody about your situation and what you've done and what you had to go through, and come out on the other side. It gives so much hope to people. Next slide. We examine the true power of storytelling and its effect on us. We all have to, I can't read that, sorry, but expand this and keep going through the changes and everyday challenges. So just going through the challenges that we face every day can be traumatic, but we can turn crisis into triumph, by just doing the things that we have to do, walking through it, and being able to, tell people when you come out on the other side that you made it through and you're stronger for it. You have more of a heart. You have more of strength to get through every day just because of what you've been through. And a lot of times there's crises in our life, such as, death, loss of a loved one, loss of maybe through divorce or separation or whatever in a relationship, a disconnection of a relationship. Children leaving the nest can be a crisis, so many different things. But to make it through and have that strength is real resilience. And to carry that forth and tell another person about it, it just can bring so much hope to them. Next slide. So there's ways to improve your resilience. There's a lot of ways. You can prioritize relationships, connect with empathetic and understanding people who can remind you that you're not alone in the midst of difficulties. You can join a group, take care of your body. It's really important to take care of yourself, first and foremost. If you don't do that, you can't care for other people very well. So it's always important to take care of not just your body, your mind, and your soul. Practice mindfulness. Avoid negative outlets such as, smoking, drinking, drugs, stuff like that. Gambling. Help others. Always help others if you can. Be proactive. Step up, show up, do what you can. Move towards your goals in a positive way. So these all things will strengthen your resiliency. Next slide. There's one thing that each of us has that is uniquely ours alone, and it's our story. Because we all have a story, right? We all been through stuff. And just being able to go through what we've gone through and then tell somebody about our story can be very helpful to them. Next slide. So I'm going to tell you a story about me. Something that happened in the situation. You might learn something, but maybe not. Perhaps it will please think about how you feel when you're listening to the story or anyone's story about overcoming what it is they have to overcome. And ask yourself these simple questions. Do I feel more connected after hearing the story? If so, in what way? To the storyteller, to self, to others in general? And what is the strongest feelings that come up? So far, do we have any questions or comments? No? Okay. So I'll tell you, when I was 41 years old, I'm a little bit older now. I had 3 kids, a 3-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 9-year-old, and I was married. And my husband died very suddenly. It was very shocking. Um, we were living in Hawaii at the time. I was living on an island far from my family. I had nobody there to help me. And it was really difficult. I didn't think I would survive it. I really didn't. And then I have my own mental health challenges, a lot of them. And they put me in the hospital. They tried to take my kids away. They didn't, but they tried. And it was just a horrible time for me and my children, who are all doing really well right now, thank God. But going through this was so traumatic for me, but I kept on. I did it a lot in the name of my kids because they meant so much to me, more than anything. So I just kept on fighting through it. Um, the officials, the fact that I had to arrange this funeral and do all these things with paperwork, and um, the fact that he was gone was so traumatic for me because we had been married for 13 years at that time. And it was just so difficult. But I persevered and I made it through. And I moved to California with my kids to be closer to my husband's family, who is very close to my kids now. Like my husband's brother is like a he's the uncle to my kids, but he's like a dad to them in a way sometimes. He really is there for them. And he lives in Southern California, but he's been very supportive. And also my husband's sister has been very supportive. When I went into the hospital a couple times, she took my kids for me and took care of them. So I had a lot of support, which is always super important to have lots of support. But yeah, we made it through. And then I started, well, I had like a nervous breakdown, so it wasn't good for a while, but I made it through. And then I started working for peers as a contractor, just doing rap groups and tobacco harm reduction because I quit smoking. And it was amazing because I got support from peers and they helped me so much. No matter what, they didn't judge me. So that was really helpful. And I started working for peers, and then I was the head of the tobacco harm reduction program and became involved in a lot of different programs. And now I've been working for them for like 7 years. So it's been pretty awesome. And my kids are doing really well. My oldest son has a baby and he lives in Taiwan right now. He graduated from Berkeley with a full scholarship. So he's really smart. He got a degree in business. He's 25 now. So that's how long ago it was. It was 17 years now. And my youngest daughter is 20. She lives with me and she works with animals. And then my middle son, he's in school at Cal State East Bay, and he lives with his girlfriend in Union City. But we're all going on a vacation in June, the four of us, the girlfriend, him, me, and my daughter. So it's going to be really cool. We're going to Tahoe. So yeah, it's really exciting. And my kids had to go through a lot too. They really did. It wasn't fair to them that they lost their dad so young. It wasn't fair that they had to move around. It, the fact that they survived and did so well shows they have a lot of resilience too. So that's a little bit of a story that I've been through. And yeah, I feel like I've come out stronger on the other side because of it. So yeah, sure. Somebody said thank you for sharing. Sure, you're welcome. I appreciate you listening because there's something about sharing your story with somebody that you connect with them and they then know you a little bit better. And then they can understand where you're coming from, maybe what something that you've been through or whatever. And it can help them think, maybe I can make it through this, whatever I'm going through, if she could do that. So it's really helpful to tell stories, and it builds your resilience. Next, does anybody want to answer any of these questions? Or you can just answer them to yourself. It's something to think about, That's how you build your resilience. And what are the strongest feelings that come up? Is it hope, I hope? Or is it understanding or relating, that maybe you've been through something similar so you can relate? And that's a strong feeling. Next slide. So we pass our resilience within our stories. We strengthen all whom we have deep and meaningful relationships. And it has this little sign here. It says hope or regret. Which direction do you want to go in? Because if you don't involve yourself in resiliency building activities, and you will regret it. If you don't go forward in your life, you will live in regret, and it's not a good place to be. I was there for a while and it wasn't good. So yeah, to go on the side of hope, down the path of hope, is always a good thing. Next slide. So resiliency is the key to ingredient in the process of adversity and recovery. So when we're trying to recover for something, resiliency is the thing that gets us through. It's amazingly personality building. Oh, thank you. Somebody said they could relate to a lot of my story and are grateful for my resiliency. Thank you. Yeah, it's personality building. It brings you strength within yourself. It turns a crisis into a triumph. It can definitely, somebody said, I believe that sharing your story builds rapport and can something hope. I think I didn't read the last part of it, but yeah, that's very true. It's amazing way to do it. And in peer work, something about sharing your stories helps people so much, because if they're suffering or in a bad place and you tell them, I was there too, I can get through this, you can get through this. It's amazingly heartwarming and builds that inner core of a person that everybody has, you know? So yeah, it's definitely a good way to go. Next slide. So these are the 5 pillars of resiliency. That's the 5 things that hold resiliency together inside you: of self-awareness, mindfulness, self-care, positive relationships, and purpose. The one I always like to focus on is purpose, because if we don't have purpose in our life, it's really, there's not really a direction that you're going in. You have to have some sort of purpose of what you want to do, what you think is important, what you think is worthwhile, and seek that out. And then positive relationships. We have all sorts of relationships in our life, right? Some people have positive ones, some people have negative ones. But to steer clear of the negative ones and kind of go to the positive, yeah, it does take all of these, somebody said. It really does. You really need to have all these things to build up your resilience. And then self-care, like earlier I was saying about taking care of yourself, taking care of your body and your mind and your soul, is super important. Somebody said, I think as a kid being rested, Travis said, as a kid being, oops, can you show that again? No more? I didn't get to see the whole thing, but I was going to read it.
I can read it for you.
Thank you.
It says, I think as a kid being raised mostly by my mother, and she was going through her own thing. It wasn't as much about what I went through as a kid, but that some of it was acknowledged and validated. I think real damage can be done that cause us harm to act like nothing ever happened.
Yes, that is so true. That is really true. And a lot of people said true. Marissa
Yes.
said true. So, yeah, it is very true that all those things together, um, and mindfulness, being mindful of our situation, of our life, of others, and aware of the way people are feeling, you know, being aware that maybe somebody else is suffering right now, and just you getting with them and telling your story might help them, you know? So it's really important to be mindful, and also mindful in your own personal space of yourself and self aware. Thank you. Next slide. And here's a few more tips for building individual resilience in times of stress. Be self compassionate. This a picture says, love I seek, courage I seek, I simply am. My heart's desire, safe from harm, a unique individual fully alive. Not an object inherently valuable, not how I feel, connected to all, completely enough. So yeah, I read that backwards, but that's okay. That's how sometimes my brain works, is backwards. Excuse me, I'm really nervous too. So if I'm babbling, that's why. Um, so you want to be self-compassionate with yourself and flexible. So you can go into different situations and be cool with it, you know? Being open-minded. But that's what I think about when I think about flexibility. Reframe your frustrations. If you're frustrated by a situation, turn it around and say, what is something positive that can come out of this? You know, how can I change this to a building block instead of a big hole in the ground? And then you want to exercise because your body needs to be strong, and sleep, of course, is so important because it can change our thought patterns. It can change the way we feel. It can change the way we think if we don't get enough sleep. Next slide. It's important to realize we have stories that are meaningful, and in this is a way to, I can't remember what it says, but resilience through sharing of ourselves. So just remember that you all have a story, and that if you're working in peer support or working with other people, your story is so important. It can help people like you would not believe, just to talk about yourself and tell them how you've gone through stuff. It's really important. Next slide. Our sense of worthiness, that critical piece that gives us access to love and belonging, belongs inside our story, lives inside our story. So having access to love and belonging, that critical piece, it lives inside us. We have a story that is crucial to other people's wellness. And that's really important to remember. In fact, I think it's one of the basics of peer support is your story and having a story to tell. It shows your resilience and helps others with theirs. Next slide. So if I share my personal story with another person, perhaps get some hope or strength from the telling of that story. It's a gift for us both. It actually uh, connects us, like I was saying earlier, the brain synapses, and when you're connecting with somebody, you create a relationship with them, a bond that is forever, actually, because of the telling of a story. So yeah, it's amazing how much um, it can help another person and help with their resiliency to grow. Um, Next slide. We're going to doing a little activity, if you guys don't mind. Is that okay with you? Okay. We're just going to take 5 minutes or so and write the story of your name. You can write anything you want. Focus on why you were given that name based on family history, cultural environments, and beliefs. If you don't know why or how you were given that name, that is the story. Everybody will have a chance to share. So just take 5 minutes or so and write about your name, how you got your name, why you got your name. Is it based on some kind of history in your family, or some story of resilience, or some beliefs that they have? Anything. Oh, this is going to be short. Then we'll come back together and share. Just 5 minutes. Maybe 2 more minutes. Molly, it's the only way that we can connect is through the chat, or can people talk? Through the chat only? Okay. Okay. Well,
people can unmute themselves and talk if you would like them to.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely doable. And we can also, we can also do the chat, but people can definitely raise their hands and talk, or just unmute and talk.
So if anybody has or is done, or do we need a few more minutes?
I'd say give it a couple minutes. It's been about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's give it another minute or two. And then I see Richard is the first with his hand up.
Okay. Time. I'll just share what Lisa said. She said that my mom grew up in, oh, no, this is a different one. Excuse me.
I can share the chats.
Yeah,
if you would like. I think
maybe another minute or so.
Yeah, let's give it another minute and then we'll start with Richard and then the chats.
I'd like to hear from Richard. Okay.
Richard, do you
Perhaps
want to go first?
Yeah, Richard. I'd like to hear from you.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, not anymore.
Okay, good.
Not
You're
anymore.
doing a great job. No need to be nervous. And yeah, this is great. So there have not been very many Richards in my family. And so I think the first reason I was given the name Richard, or in my native language, which is Polish, Richard, was that my father and his cousin, Richard, were in the same prisoner of war camp
Wow.
in Germany during the Second World War. And so the two of them grew very close. And they had great love for each other. So my dad named me partially after my uncle Richard, who many years later I got to meet. I wasn't able to meet a lot of my family because of something some of you may have heard about, the Cold War and the Iron Curtain.
Yeah.
And my family was split by that. My folks came here to the West in 1949 as refugees after the war. So there's this big divide, but to kind of celebrate that connection to relatives who are far away and to celebrate their mutual support in a really tough situation, I was given my uncle's name. And also Richard is a Western name. And I'm the first person in my family ever to have been born outside of Eurasia, the first one born in the Americas and in the United States. And so Richard is a name that comes from France and England. It's a Western name. So even though I was raised speaking the name in both languages, it was kind of like an acknowledgement of this huge change and a new chapter in the family's history, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the story of why I'm Richard.
Wow,
and
that's
it's the
a great
most
story.
easy.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me share it.
Heather, would you like me to read the chat?
Sure.
Okay,
I just want to comment really quickly to Richard that that's a great story of resiliency that your family went through. And it gave me goosebumps. It was really nice.
So Tiffany in the chat says, I come from an Irish family, and Tiffany is a very common name that my mom loved as a young girl before she had me. And Lisa in the chat says, no family history. My mom just likes the names together for my sister and I, Lori and Lisa.
And that does sound nice.
And then Marissa in the chat says, my mom grew up in eastern St. Louis, Missouri metro area on the Illinois side of the Mississippi. Her family roots are there. She was watching the weather map on the news and saw Marissa, Illinois pop up, and that was that. That's a great story too.
Yeah. We have two hands up too.
You want to do the hands and then we'll come back to the chat?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with Tasha.
Tasha, hi.
Hi there, thank you. So I have to say, I was named after a German Shepherd dog. And
wow.
So, yeah. And so it's Tasha Ann, and then Ann comes from my aunt. And I will say my sister Cher was named after the singer and the movie star. But I was like, okay, but I love animals. So that's how Tasha, how it came, because named after a German Shepherd dog.
Oh, wow. That's quite interesting. Gosh. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And Travis?
So, yeah, so the story about my name is my parents met in the Air Force, and there is a Air Force base in California named Travis Air Force Base.
I know.
So that's why I'm named that. And I guess I think it's kind of interesting that they named me that, and like I'm in this field of work, like kind of trying to connect people, you know?
Yeah,
That was after.
that's great. Yeah, Travis Air Force Base. I know where that is. Over here in California. Were they stationed there or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's great. And Julia.
So my first name, I don't think is that interesting. It was after my grandmother. It means useful, the one who, well, maybe it is, but second generation American from Ireland. And interestingly enough, I have almost identical mental health conditions. I mean, if not identical. However, my middle name was after my aunt on my dad's side. And she and all but my dad of my grandmother's children changed their names because legally, because my grandmother who chose the names had Munchausen by proxy. So
Oh,
my
wow.
middle name is Christine, but my aunt legally changed her name to Skip. And every time I write it out, I still think of that.
Oh, wow. It changed it to Skip?
Yep. And my other aunt legally changed it to Punk. And my dad goes by Buzz. None of her children will use the name she gave them.
Wow.
Yeah. So I wonder if my mom knew that when she gave it to me.
Maybe, huh? Excuse me, my kitty.
Heather, let me read a couple out of the chat.
Okay, thank you.
So Patty Carter said, my mom's name is Patricia, but my great-grandmother was Laura, and she wanted me to be named after her. But I was named Patty after my mom and Linnell after my grandmother.
Wow. Yeah, sometimes we get named after family, and it's like a great honor to be named after them, you know, because that means that they think highly of these people and they want to pass on those traits to you.
And Stacy said, my parents were going to name me Rebecca. My dad showed up as I was being born and said, she's not a Becky, we're naming her Stacy. It's a great story.
Yeah.
And Christina said that they don't know how to raise their hand, but they would like to share. Okay. Christina D. You need to unmute. We can't hear you.
Christina, you need to unmute.
She did.
It's not working?
If maybe you could put it in the chat. While Christina puts that in the chat, I will read what Kurt put in. Kurt said, my dad told me that he named me after a man that he met when he was stationed in Nuremberg, Germany. Kurt with a K, since many German words with the C sound start with K. The photos that I have seen of Nuremberg were of ruins from the World War II bombing, and I draw strength from the rebuilding of the city and how it has been restored. I like that the law on informed consent came in part from Nuremberg also. And Christina says that they will type their comment.
Okay.
And I will share my story if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah.
So Molly was the name of my great aunt's dog. And my middle name is Richmond, which is not only my middle name, but the middle name of my sister and my 3 cousins. So we are all Richmond in the middle because my grandfather, Stanley Richmond, only had girls. And so they put his name in by making it all of our middle names. And my last name is my dad's chosen last name.
Oh, really? That's great. Gosh. It's interesting how they wanted to carry on the family name. So they put the name in all of your middle names, right? Is that what they did? Richmond, yes. Richmond.
I hated it as a child. And I love it now. It's interesting. But as a child, people were always like, why do you have a boy's middle name?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. My middle name is Haunani. It's Hawaiian.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I'm named after my dad's deceased girlfriend. that he had when before he was married. And he really loved her name, Heather. So he named me after it. And then my mom insisted on all us. I had 4 sisters. Unfortunately, 2 of them passed away. But my mom named us all Middle Hawaiian names. So it's Erin Malia, which means Mary, and she's the oldest. And she's like, the Virgin Mary. But and then my other sister Kathy was named Kathy Kamana, which means storm, and she was very stormy. So it really fit her a lot. And then my little sister was named Patrice Keikilani, and that was Child of Heaven, and she went to heaven way too soon. So yeah, that. And Haunani means heavenly flower. So that's me. I guess I'm a heavenly flower.
Nice. We've got a couple in the chat.
Oh, I was gonna say I could share if
Sure.
I'm not jumping in. So my name is Rhea Wolf, and my name means Rhea means to flow, and flow is also an anagram of wolf, which is my last name, which I think is interesting. I was given this name not by my parents, but by a spiritual parent. Similar, if you're Catholic, you might think of a godmother or godfather, but it's different than that. Rhea is also the name of a goddess, and also the wolf who mothered the founders of Rome was named Rhea. And so it's interesting to have Rhea and wolf part of it. And then I just like to think of my name as an instruction, since it was given in a spiritual way. I think of my name as an instruction to learn to flow, to like be learning how to flow, which is not easy for me.
No, it's not.
And also to nurture life.
Wow, that's amazing. So you've taken your name and you've built into to flow and to to me. I think of grow when you're talking about flow, because you can grow from that, definitely, and it's not easy to flow. So the fact that you taking it and turned it in such a positive is great.
So in the chat, Jennifer said, my dad named me Jennifer after the movie Jennifer, which I've never seen. I meet someone named Jennifer almost everywhere I go, which makes me feel an instant connection.
Oh, great.
That's cool.
Thank you.
And then Christina got theirs in the chat. It says, my name is Christina because it works in Spanish and English, making me bilingual and bicultural. I was then renamed Tina, a Mennonite name, after a loving grandmother. Louise is after a grandmother on my mom's side. Dirksen is a Mennonite. Is that right? Dirksen is a Mennonite name for the farmer son of Derek. My family comes from Russia in a Mennonite colony. The Iron Curtain also separated my family. I grew up between Bolivia and the USA.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Interesting stories. Really amazing. Anyone else? So, the pathway for recovery for individuals who have mental health issues or substance use issues is not always smooth, but the building of resilience makes it possible to navigate setbacks and to perhaps grow from that. Just by telling your story of your name is a way to step in with somebody and start a conversation or whatever. It's been great and interesting to hear everybody's stories of their name, and that's just something super simple. And realize how deep we all are with all our stuff that we have going on. It can be really amazing to tell your story. So it does build resilience, and it just makes it possible to navigate setbacks and sustain long-term recovery through the building of resilience. One way to really do this is through peer support, I think. Just being with other people and developing social relationships. peers sharing their story, it can be very interpersonal and very strengthening. Does anybody have any comments or questions? No?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
And
good.
Richard
I
already
can't.
said.
Yay.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to thank you. This has been fun getting to know people and you.
Oh, good. Yeah, just, sometimes just through a short conversation, you can connect with somebody. And Richard has his hand up.
Yeah, I really love this exercise, and I do trainings myself, and so I'm just going to let you know I'm probably going to steal this in one form or another.
Okay, that's fine.
But I like this exercise because I think for most of us, how we were named connects us to our families. And earlier on, when you were talking about different kinds of resiliency, what jumped out to me was you mentioned like social cultural resilience.
Yes.
And I just know personally, knowing about my ancestors, what they went through, knowing about my family, especially my mom and dad went through horrible times during the war. They've always been examples. Not that I'm comparing my situation to them, but when I struggle, I think about the struggles they went through, and I get ideas, I get inspirations. And I really, to me, that really resonates, kind of connecting to that support that comes from those that came before, in addition to sharing with people like you and that kind of immediate support. So I love this. I think it's a great exercise.
Oh, great. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, when children grow up with strong understandings of their family history, it can be let them develop better coping skills. And then they also have something that they're connected to. So they have a story even before they know how to talk practically. It's amazing. They can develop resiliency by listening to their parents. These stories can be the glue that kind of holds a family together, sort of. Because it's an amazing thing to be in a family and listen to stories. I didn't really have much of that myself because I was raised by a single mom who was always gone. So I didn't really have a lot of stories, except for I like my name story. It's kind of interesting because after my dad's girlfriend, kind of interesting because he was gone pretty quick too. So
we have another story in the chat.
Great.
It's Katie. It says, my name is Katie Figueroa. I was named after my great grandma, Katie Battisti. I hope I pronounced these right, who raised 13 girls and 3 boys in a small home, 500 square feet in Santa Barbara, California. My great grandma Katie was an immigrant from Italy in the early 1900s who fought the school system to ensure that my grandmother and siblings were allowed in the school district. My grandmother was born with polio and was not allowed in school with her disabilities, and my grandmother took her to school daily so she could get an education my grandmother deserved. I'm gonna tear up.
Wow.
My great-grandparents believed in helping anyone who needed help. They were known for their hospitality and the mindset that everyone does what they need to do to survive as long as they are not harming people in the process.
Wow,
what a great story.
Is beautiful. That is so beautiful. The history of our own families is amazing. It can help us with cultural resilience, how to be around other people, and it keeps cultures alive. The storyteller and the listener exchange strength and resilience through these stories. So your grandma telling you this, it probably made you feel really proud and strong. And the fact that you're named after her too.
This is a great exercise. Thank you, Heather.
Sure.
I also think I'll probably use it because it actually, I facilitate a peer wellness specialist training, and I can see using this as part of the culture module to help explain individual culture, because we talk a lot about our individual culture that everybody, there's comes all the way down. And this is a great demonstration of that. So thank you.
Oh, sure. I guess the next slide, we're coming to the end pretty quick here. It's kind of short, a little half an hour short, but my timing's not everything. So that wraps up our workshop for today. If you heard anything that hits home for you or enjoyed the process of listening to or sharing stories and think there's something to be gained from it, by all means comment. And if you have a question about the process, let me know. Any questions or comments? I'm just really glad everybody who came and was able to participate in this. And hopefully you learned a little bit about your own inner resilience and how you can gain it and share it with others through the telling of stories. And the 5 pillars and 7 C's and all that.
And is it possible to send the slides to people?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if anybody wants the slides, please put your email in the chat and I will save the chat and we'll send the slides out afterwards.
And somebody just put something in the chat.
Okay, then I have to find it again.
Okay.
Sometimes the chat just disappears.
There's a bunch of emails too.
Perfect.
I'm glad you guys liked the presentation. I hope
Is it
you
okay
liked
if
it.
I stop sharing slides and we can just all be in the group together?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
I'd really like to talk to people.
I wonder if I could ask a question. This is Rhea again. I think a lot about resiliency, as I'm sure we all do, in the work that we do, and just being, psychiatric survivors or in recovery and, all of that. And one thing that I'm struggling with, like personally, is that sometimes the idea of resiliency is like I picture it like a flower growing through a crack in the sidewalk, right? Like this wasn't the best place to grow, but you did it and you grew and you bloomed, right? But that implies like, I don't know, like a beautiful end to the story. And there's another piece of resiliency to me that sometimes for years and years just feels like endurance. It doesn't feel like getting to the beautiful bloom. It just feels like a slog.
Making it through barely, right?
Yeah. And so I'm just thinking about that a lot in terms of like how I think about resiliency, but how I talk about it to other people as well. Because I do think that, we live in a capitalist culture, which does, I think, give us kind of the story of productivity, which is like, there's an end product, there's an end point, there's, it will get better,
Big success, right?
Yeah. And so I'm just thinking about like how to share stories of resilience and even foster resilience when there doesn't appear to even be a shiny, beautiful bloom at the end of the road, but it's just like, okay, I just keep going. So I'm just curious if you or other people have thoughts about that.
Okay. Does anybody want to comment? I'll comment. Slothing through and just making it through. It seems like it's, hard and boring and stuff, but it is resilience. It's really great resilience. And it may not make for an interesting story, but I'm sure there's something in there that's very interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in there that's really interesting in your story. But just because there's no big party at the end or big bloom or whatever, however you wanted to put it, it doesn't mean that you're not being successful and making it through and turning those crises into triumphs in small ways, you know? So I hope that kind of answers a little bit.
The whole
Richard.
flower growing from the crack in the sidewalk metaphor reminded me of like kind of in Buddhist philosophy, the symbol of the lotus. And I think part of that is that lotuses can grow in like really dark, off the beaten path places. And oftentimes finding that peace of mind is the last place you want to look going into the darkness. So I just thought that was interesting.
Has anybody ever heard the story of the little tree on the cliff that clings to the edge of the cliff and grows no matter what, the storm and the sea that hits it? And it's a really good, it's a children's story, but it's a great story of resilience. That's what it made me think of too, the flower growing through the crack, you know, and it's not a story with a big dramatic ending. It's just this tree just hangs on. And that's the story, sort of.
Richard's got their hand up.
Yeah, Richard.
Yeah, I mean, great conversation. So many things that people are saying are kind of like hitting home. Yeah, I like to go to a nearby Chinese garden, and of course they have lotuses there. And to me, I love that symbol. I know that Buddhist kind of, that Buddhist metaphor. And, you know, the wonder of the lotus is that it's so, you know, colorful and often white, yet in order for the bloom to reach sunlight, it's got to kind of push its way up through the mud. And that's a great metaphor for life. I really hear you about that kind of, that feeling that sometimes you're slogging through something. And, you know, my own personal diagnosis is a pretty common one, involves anxiety and severe clinical depression. And there's some times where my resilience, my world has grown so small and gray and colorless. It's like in my head, I know the rest of the world, including good things and good people are out there, but I can't quite reach through that fog. And sometimes all I tell myself, I'm an avid hiker, and I just tell myself, okay, right now, just put one foot in front of the other, and then repeat, and just keep going, and the fog will clear, and maybe you can reclaim some of the rest of that color in life. But if I may, just one thing I just really wanted to share was, I mentioned, you know, my dad was he was a prisoner of war for 6 years during the Second World War.
Wow.
That's where he learned his English, from Royal Air Force fighters that had been shot down. But my mom had it a lot worse. I grew up with a mom who had a number tattooed on her arm. She was in Auschwitz and Buchenwald. She survived the camps. So they both went through this hell and came here, and raising me as a child, they worked so hard to give me sort of a leave it to beaver, perfect, comfortable, loving life, even though we weren't Anglo-Saxons and we were kind of different from the people around us. And I grew up in a Latino neighborhood too. So we had all these differences. I'm always looking for, well, what do we share? What do we have in common? No matter what you look like, no matter what your language is. But they worked so hard to give me a carefree and a nurturing love. But you know how children, when we're young, we can pick up on the emotions of people around us. Kids are really good at sensing their environment. And so beyond that happy surface, I could kind of sense this kind of edgy tension there. And I didn't know how to explain it or where it came from, but I knew it was there. And only much, much later in my life, when I was working with a really good therapist, he pointed out, he made the connection that, you know, I think the anxiety you deal with as part of your diagnosis was probably based in your childhood perception, even though you didn't know exactly what the story was, perception of what my parents were feeling. It's like, this is working, things are going well, but this kind of awareness that things can go south and life can be very hard and turn on a dime. And so it's kind of interesting that in some ways they really gave me so many tools and so much love. But in spite of that, I still kind of inherited a bit of what they went through, and that became part of my personal challenge of dealing with my own mental health. So I just wanted to kind of connect those dots for people, because it's not what we usually think of, but for me, and when my therapist kind of put that on me, it was like, it was a big idea, but it immediately made sense. And in a way, it made me feel closer to my parents. So, you know, you never know. Everything, there's a lot of irony in life. I guess we all know that. Sometimes nothing is ever completely straightforward. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you for letting me.
Thank you so much. It's so meaningful. And I think a lot of people realize that they inherit more than their physical characteristics from their parents. You know, we inherit a lot from our families. Anybody else care to comment? No?
I just, sorry, can I speak?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Chrissy.
I want to thank Richard for speaking so frankly. I mean, like with my family, Stalin killed most of, I can see how anxiety runs through families, and it's amazing how much we do inherit, and I was just wanting to thank him for his honesty, and and I can really connect.
Very powerful. Anybody else? Not.
I will say again, thank you, Heather, for this opportunity to connect and for this information about resilience. I really appreciate it.
Oh, sure. It was my pleasure. I was so happy to come here. I've been to Pure Apocalypse twice in person. Once in Seaside and once in that other town. I forgot the name of it. Salem, yes. So, yeah.
We'll be back in Seaside next year.
And I'll be there for sure. I'll be happy to come. So, yeah, I love Oregon. And especially Seaside is really pretty. So, and the people there are great. I've never met such a supportive peer community. I swear to God, you guys are great.
Hey, Heather, I put this in the chat, but I don't know if anybody saw it. I was just curious if the story of the little tree growing on the cliff was like a children's book, or if it's just a story you heard. What's the name of it?
I think it's called The Little Lonely Tree, or something about the little tree.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you I bet if you Google it under Little Tree Resilience Stories for Children, it would come up.
Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? I guess you guys get out of the workshop early.
Okay. Again, anybody who wants the slides, please put your email in the chat and I will send out slides following up on this.
Thank you for participating. It really was a pleasure. At the hugging tree, yes. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. It was really cool to hear everybody's stories.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day now. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Bye. Bye. I got nervous and I went too fast, but that's okay.
That's okay. It was only a few minutes. I mean, we're only 10 minutes or 15 minutes early, so it's not a big deal.
Okay.
And people got good stuff and engaged well.
Yeah, they did.
So, yeah. And,
glad you liked the activity.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Okay.
Do you know how to save the chat for yourself?
No, I don't.
So if you go to the chat, it should say invite, mute all, and then there's 3 little dots. And if you click on the 3 little dots, oh no, that's not where it is. Darn it.
Oh,
Hold
no,
on.
they don't have 3 little dots. It just says invite.
Okay, let me figure out. So on the chat, you should be able, yeah, at the bottom of the chat, sorry, where you're trying to chat with everybody, there's 3 little dots. And if you click those 3 little dots, the top thing is save chat.
Yes.
And then that will save the chat to your laptop or computer, wherever you are, so that you have everything that was shared.
Oh, great.
So you have that information.
A lot of people came. I was surprised. Yeah. 37.
Yeah. And then I will also save the chat.
Okay.
And
thank you so much for all your help.
Yeah. And I will have our people will send out the slides for you.
Okay, great.
So I'll have them send out the PDF that you sent me of the slides.
Okay, great.
So that way it's not a change, they can't change them. Okay. Is there anything else that?
No.
Okay.
This is great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure to come here and do this.
It was great to have you.
I'm doing one workshop tomorrow.
Oh, good. Yeah. If you can, come to the Mad Hatter dance in the evening.
Okay.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's really silly. Everybody dances in their own little Zoom square. It's all kinds of fun.
Neat.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's neat.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
How do I get out? Bye.
I will end the meeting.